everyone, welcome back to the Diabetic Diet Show. Today I'm going to make a really neat lunch with a couple of chicken breasts. I'm going to cook them up. Now if you have a really big thick chicken breast, you can cut it in half and butterfly it. I have a couple of small ones, so I'm just going to cook these up, and then I'm going to put some cheese and tomato in the center, and then I'm going to put mozzarella cheese on top of it. It's going to be really good. Let's get started here. So the first thing I need to do is to get my seasoning ready, and I need to get these in the pan. Now, here I have my chicken breast sitting here all ready to go. I have a pan that has some sherry that I put in it to deglaze the pan, and I have some olive oil in the pan already, but just to be sure, I'm going to go around the outside edge, and I'm going to put some olive oil around the outside edge, and then I'm just going to move these around a little bit just to get in the sherry and the oil, just like that. Now, this is a rub. I've been using this all summer. It's called an applewood rub. You could use this. You could use like a Weber type, whatever rub you have. I'm sure all the seasoning companies make a good rub, and I'm not really rubbing it. I'm just sprinkling it on there. And then some pepper, fresh ground pepper. Put away my sherry. Check it, turn it over. They're starting to get white on the one side. That's a good thing. Now I'll just put a little more on the other side. There's really no measurement with this. There's really no recipe for this. This is basically just cooking up a couple of chicken breasts with some seasoning, tomatoes, and cheese. And it's just a great little lunch. It's going to be healthy. There's no sugar. This is just salt, sea salt, and I had some garlic salt left in the bottom of a container that I couldn't mill out anymore, so I just save it and I mix it with my salt. So it's a beautiful day. I have the windows open in case you hear the ducks in the background. Just going to cook these up. It's a nice breeze blowing through. Okay, I'm going to go put this stuff away, wash my hands, and I'll be right back. Those are cooking and they smell fantastic. Now I'm going to use my cutting board, and here's a little trick. Wet paper towel, you just put it down where you're going to cut, and just keeps your cutting board from moving around. Here's my scraper and a knife. This should be fairly easy. All I'm going to do is to cut up a tomato, just like that. And before I forget, because this is a lunch, I'm not going to be cutting up any garlic, shredding it that way. I'm just using roasted garlic on there, and a new spatula here to pull it out. Just keep an eye on it, maybe turn it over. You know, you have to stop, like when you're cutting up the tomatoes, you got to keep an eye on your meat. Have to check it with the thermometer every once in a while. I like to put one on top of another and then check it so I don't read the pan. Looks like 150 at the moment, so I need just a little bit more. I'm just going to turn the heat off and just let it cruise, because the pan is plenty hot. Pan is 368 degrees. So even turning it off, it's plenty hot. So let's let those sit there for just a little bit like that. kind of got what you call the dropsies today, where I knock over stuff, drop stuff. Okay, let's just cut up some thin tomatoes, just like this. What you don't use for this, you can save and use for your next project. And if you want, instead of using this thermometer, I have where you have an internal probe, and you can literally just stick it in and then just watch it and see what the temperature is. And just for the fun of it, put this one in and see how they compare. This is a Taylor. I did a review on this. It's in my list of reviews shows. You can set it to the temperature that you want. Tells you current temperature, tells you target temperature. Okay. These are still right around 140, so let's go ahead to the next step. Let's get some cheese on top of one of them. Always smell your cheese. Make sure it smells like ammonia, throw it away. So I'm just going to put cheese, just like this, on top of them. Then I'm going to grab the lid, and I'm going to put the lid on so that the cheese melts. Now if you want, you could just throw this in the oven for 5 or 10 minutes to melt the cheese whenever you do this. You can just preheat your oven to whatever you want, 400, 450, and then that way your oven's nice and hot. While you're grilling these, put your cheese on it, throw it in there until the cheese is melted, and then pull it out, assemble the next part, and then throw it in again to melt the cheese on top. This sandwich that I'm actually making for lunch, I'm shooting this show after I did the dinner show, so I'm actually making lunch for tomorrow. So I'm par cooking these. I'm not going to worry about whether or not they get to 165 when you get the carryover cooking, where it goes from 140, 145, 150, and then you watch it'll keep going up 160, and then you know once you get 160, you know you're going to carry over to 165. So basically I just want to cook these up so they're ready to go for lunch for tomorrow, because I had the pan with all of the taste and fond from the meal that I made. So I put the sherry in it, and that kind of liquefied everything up, and it was an Asian meal, so the chicken breasts are going to get a little bit of that taste. So that's kind of a trick. You know, I have a friend of mine has a camper, and they say whenever you cook, you always cook 2 to 3 meals. Because if you're going to go through all the work of getting everything ready to go and cooking and dirtying pans and dishes, you might as well get the next meal or 2 ready to go. Because there's basic things that you're going to make. Probably there's 5 different meats you're going to cook. And, you know, if you've got beans and you want to make beans and you're making another meal, go ahead and get those beans ready to go for next meal. In this case, what I did was I cooked up the meat a little bit in advance so that it would speed things up in shooting the show. So that just kind of makes your life a little better. So now that that would be melted, what I'll do is I'll take my pan lid off there, and the next step we're going to do is to put a tomato on top of one of the chicken breasts, and I'm just going to pull it out where you can see it real good. Now, like I say, if this was a big thick one, you would want this to be butterflied. So in my case, because I have thin ones, I'm just putting them on top of each other like that. And if you want, you can spoon some of this on here, just to kind of get that taste of all of that. And then, all I need to do is to put some mozzarella cheese on top of that. And of course, you can put anything else you want. If you got some bacon, I have some bacon in the refrigerator that I bought for doing recipes. It's the pre-cooked bacon, so it's like 99% cooked. If you wanted to use that, you can put that on here. So this is just about making something quick for lunch for tomorrow. Not really for a lot of detail. Put the pan lid on, put it in the oven, get that to melt. So this is the bacon that I buy. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one brand of bacon, and this is pre-cooked. So if you're doing something like this, a show, and you just need one piece of bacon, I'm sure you've probably seen my other shows where I cook the whole package in 2 pans, and I do that in the oven. And so Oscar Mayer is the only one to buy. Pre-cooked bacon, so if you want, you can warm it up tomorrow when I actually eat the sandwich. I could possibly do that. If you take and put it on a little tray, throw it in the microwave for a few seconds, just to heat it up, soften it up. So this is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and go to the next step, I guess, which is to plate this up. Here we go, folks. I guarantee that is going to be one delicious tasting meal. So simple. Chicken breast with some cheese, tomato in the center, and just basically cook it until you get 160. Make sure it gets to 165 in the end when you carry over. So if you like the show, hit the thumbs up button. Let me know that you like chicken breast. And also don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.